imagine standing on your own doorstep, rain pouring down, clutching nothing but a small duffel bag, while the people inside, your own family, are laughing at you? Laughing because you're broke. Laughing because you've hit rock bottom. Laughing as they tell you you're no longer welcome in the only home you've ever known. That's exactly where I was 5 years ago. My name is Emily, and what happened next? Well, let's just say the universe has a wicked sense of humor when it comes to karma. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Buckle up, because this story is a roller coaster of betrayal, heartbreak, grit, and the most satisfying revenge you'll hear all week. It all started when I was 23. I had just graduated college with a degree in graphic design, full of dreams and optimism. I moved back home temporarily to save money while job hunting. You know, the classic plan. My family wasn't rich, but we were comfortable. Mom and Dad owned a nice house in the suburbs. My older brother Mark had a steady construction job, and my younger sister Lisa was still in high school. At first, everything seemed fine. They welcomed me back, said it was no big deal. But then the job market hit me like a truck. I sent out hundreds of resumes, went to dozens of interviews. Nothing. Months dragged on. My savings dwindled to nothing. I started picking up freelance gigs here and there. Small stuff, like designing logos for local businesses. But it barely covered gas and my phone bill. I felt the shift in the house slowly at first. Little comments from Mom. Have you heard back from any of those places yet? Dad sighing heavily every time he saw me on my laptop. Still looking, huh? Mark would roll his eyes when I asked to borrow $20 for groceries. Lisa straight up avoided me like failure was contagious. I tried so hard to stay positive. I'd cook dinner to contribute, clean the house top to bottom, run errands for everyone. But the tension kept building. One night, about 8 months in, it all exploded. I remember it like it was yesterday. We were having dinner, spaghetti, nothing fancy, and I mentioned I'd had another interview that day. Didn't get it, I said quietly, poking at my food. That's when Mark snorted. Shocker. Another rejection for Princess Emily. Mark, Mom warned half-heartedly. No, seriously, he continued, warming up. How many is that now? 50? 100? Maybe design just isn't your thing. My face burned. I'm trying? Dad cut in, voice rising. Trying is getting a real job, Emily. Not sitting around on your computer all day playing artist. I felt my throat tighten. I am looking for real jobs. I'm freelancing too. Freelancing, Lisa mocked, doing air quotes. That's why you're always asking to borrow money. Some freelancer. The laughter started then. First Mark, then Lisa joining in, even Mom letting out an uncomfortable chuckle. Dad just shook his head, but I saw the corner of his mouth twitch. Something inside me cracked. Guys, come on, I said, voice shaking. I'm doing my best. Your best isn't good enough, Dad said flatly. We're carrying you. Bills are tight enough without another mouth to feed that doesn't contribute. I stared at him, stunned. Another mouth to feed? I was his daughter. That night I barely slept. The next morning I doubled my efforts. Applied to everything. Retail, waitressing, office admin, anything. But the comments kept coming. Everyday little digs. You're 24 now, Emily. Time to grow up. When are you moving out? We didn't raise you to be a mooch. It wore me down until I barely recognized myself in the mirror. Hollow eyes, constant anxiety. Then came the day that changed everything. I was in the kitchen making coffee when Mom sat me down. Emily, we need to talk. My stomach dropped. Your father and I have discussed it, and we think it's time for you to find your own place. I blinked. What, but we can't keep supporting you indefinitely. It's not fair to the rest of the family. Mom, I'm trying so hard, just a little more time. She shook her head. We've given you plenty. Mark and Lisa are uncomfortable having you here. It's affecting the whole house. Uncomfortable? In their own home? That afternoon, Dad handed me an envelope with $200. That's to help you get started, he said, not meeting my eyes. You need to be out by the weekend. Just like that. I begged, I cried. I promised I'd have something soon. No car. I'd sold it months ago to pay bills. No friends close enough to crash with indefinitely. Just me, the rain, and the sound of my family laughing inside as they locked the door. My heart didn't just break that day. It shattered. I walked to the nearest motel, the kind with hourly rates, and paid for one night. Sat on the lumpy bed and cried until I had nothing left. How could they do this to me? I was their daughter, their sister, but in their eyes I was just a failure, a burden. That night, rock bottom stared me in the face, and something shifted. The tears stopped. The pain turned into this cold, burning anger. If they thought I was worthless, I'd prove them wrong. Not for them. For me. I wasn't going to let their cruelty define me. The next morning, I made a plan. First, survival. I used my laptop at a coffee shop with free Wi-Fi to apply for every entry-level job in the city. Waitressing, barista, retail, anything that paid immediately. Landed a part-time gig at a diner within 2 days. But they were done. Mark actually smirked as he helped carry my stuff to the porch. Tips weren't great, but cash every night kept me going. I moved into the cheapest studio apartment I could find. Tiny, roach-infested, but mine. No more family judgment. No more walking on eggshells. Just me and my determination. I kept freelancing on the side, building my portfolio slowly. Took online courses at night, free ones on YouTube and Coursera to sharpen my skills. Worked double shifts when I could. Add a ramen and peanut butter sandwiches, but I never asked them for help. Not once. Blocked their numbers after Mark sent a mocking text. How's homelessness treating you? It hurt, but it fueled me. 6 months in, something clicked. One of my freelance clients, a small startup, loved my work so much they offered me a full-time remote position. Junior designer, decent salary, benefits. I cried when I got the email, not from sadness this time, from relief, from pride. I accepted immediately. Moved to a better apartment, started saving aggressively, invested in myself. Better equipment, professional certifications. Within a year, I was promoted. Then again, my work started getting noticed in the industry. I networked like crazy. LinkedIn, design conferences, online communities. Built real connections. By year 3, I co-founded a small digital agency with 2 partners I met online. We specialized in branding for tech startups. Business boomed. We landed bigger clients, bigger contracts. My income went from scraping by to 6 figures. Then higher. I bought my first condo. Sleek, modern, paid in cash to avoid debt. Traveled when I wanted. Built the life I always dreamed of. And through it all, I never forgot what they did. How they laughed. How they slammed that door. Fast forward to last year, 5 years after they threw me out. I was at a design conference in my hometown, ironically, speaking on a panel about resilience in creative careers. Afterward, networking reception. That's when I saw him. Mark, older, heavier looking, rough. Construction work had dried up in the area. He'd been laid off. He spotted me across the room. His eyes widened. "Emily?" he said, approaching hesitantly. "Holy crap, is that you?" I smiled politely. "Mark, long time." He looked me up and down. Designer clothes, confident posture. "You look amazing. I heard you're doing really well now. Word travels, I guess." "Yeah, things turned around." We chatted awkwardly. Then he dropped it. "Listen, family's not doing great. Dad's health isn't good. Medical bills piling up. Mom's stressed out of her mind. Lisa's got 2 kids now. Boyfriend left her. We're really struggling." I raised an eyebrow. "I'm sorry to hear that." He shifted uncomfortably. "I know we weren't great to you back then. We were harsh, stressed about money ourselves. But maybe, could you help? Even a little? Loan or something? We'd pay you back." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I kept my face neutral. "A loan?" "Yeah, anything. 10, 20,000? Just to get us through." 20,000. The audacity. But he wasn't done. That night, my phone started blowing up. Texts from Mom. "Sweetie, Mark told us he saw you. We're so proud, can we talk?" Lisa. "Hey sis, miss you. Need to catch up." Dad even called. First time in 5 years. Left a voicemail. "Emily, it's Dad. Heard you're successful now. Good for you. Family could use some support though. Call me back." They all came crawling, begging. Suddenly I wasn't a failure anymore. I was their savior. Can you even imagine? My blood was boiling and ice cold at the same time. Part of me wanted to ignore them completely. But another part, the part that remembered standing in the rain, that part wanted more. So I agreed to meet at a neutral cafe. All 4 of them showed up, looking worn, desperate. Mom teared up immediately. Emily, you've grown into such a beautiful woman. We're so sorry for how things ended. Dad nodded. We were wrong, scared about money, took it out on you. Mark, I was a jerk, immature. Lisa, we all were. Then came the pitch. Medical bills, mortgage behind, car repossessed, kids needing things. They needed help. A lot of it, 50,000 to be exact, to get back on their feet. I listened quietly, let them talk, let them beg. When they finished, I took a slow sip of coffee. Do you remember the day you kicked me out? Silence. Do you remember laughing as I stood in the rain with one bag? Mom started crying harder. We were wrong. Yes, I cut in calmly. You were. I pulled out my phone, showed them photos, my condo, my office, awards my agency had won. This is what I built. From nothing, without any of you. Dad looked down. I don't owe you anything, I continued. Not a dollar, not a phone call. But we're family, Lisa started. Family? I laughed softly. Family doesn't abandon each other at the first sign of struggle. Family doesn't mock and humiliate. I stood up. I'm not giving you money. Their faces fell. Mark's turned red. After everything? After everything you did, exactly. I leaned in slightly. But I am going to do something for you. Hope flickered in their eyes. I'm going to wish you the same thing you gave me. Nothing. And maybe, just maybe, this will finally motivate you. I walked out. Didn't look back. Blocked them all again. Permanently this time. A few months later, I heard through mutual acquaintances. They'd sold the house to cover debts, moved into a small apartment, everyone scrambling for jobs. Struggling, just like I had. But without the safety net they destroyed. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it revenge? Absolutely. But more than that, it was justice. I didn't ruin them. They did that to themselves long before I ever walked away. I just refused to save them from the consequences. Sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destruction. It's indifference. It's thriving in spite of them. It's becoming everything they said you couldn't be, and letting them watch from the outside. Whew. Did this one give you that satisfying chill? These days I look back on that rainy night not with pain, but with gratitude. Because if they hadn't slammed that door, I might never have built my own. I learned who I was without their approval, what I was capable of without their support. And honestly, I'm happier than I ever was living under their roof, surrounded by people who actually value me, friends I've made, partners at work, a life I created. I even mentor young designers now who are struggling, tell them my story, the real one, encourage them to keep going. Because rock bottom, it's not the end. Sometimes it's the foundation you build everything else on. And to my family, wherever you are, I hope you're okay. I really do. But I also hope you learned something about kindness, about compassion, about what family really means. Because blood doesn't entitle you to cruelty or to forgiveness you haven't earned. Some bridges, once burned, stay burned, and that's okay. Life moved on. I moved on. Happier, stronger, successful beyond anything they could imagine. And every time I close a big deal, or walk into my beautiful home, or laugh with people who genuinely care, I think of that night in the rain, and I smile. Not because I'm bitter, but because I'm free. Because karma didn't need my help. It just needed time. And boy, did it deliver. If you've ever been betrayed by the people who were supposed to love you unconditionally, if you've ever been counted out, laughed at, abandoned, know this. Your story isn't over. Their words don't define you. And one day, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if things had gone differently. If I'd landed that first big job right out of college. If I'd stayed comfortable under their roof. Would I have pushed myself as hard? Would I have discovered what I was truly capable of? Probably not. Adversity has a way of forging us, doesn't it? Like steel in fire. They thought they were throwing me away. But really, they set me free. Free to fail on my own terms. Free to succeed without their shadows. Free to become someone they don't even recognize. And that's powerful. I don't hate them anymore. Hate takes energy. Energy I'd rather spend on my life. On growing my business. On traveling to places I only dreamed of as a kid. On spoiling my chosen family. The friends who showed up when blood didn't. That's the thing about revenge stories like this. The best ones aren't about destruction. They're about creation. Building something beautiful out of ashes. Turning pain into power. And letting the universe handle the rest. Because karma, she's patient. She's precise. And she never ever forgets. I got my revenge without lifting a finger, just by living, by succeeding, by refusing to let their cruelty win. And if you're out there right now, feeling broken, feeling like the people who should have your back turned away, please hear me. It gets better. You are stronger than you know. That rain you're standing in, it's temporary. The sun will come out. And when it does, you'll blind them all. Not with anger, but with your light, your success, your peace. That's the ultimate comeback. That's the revenge that lasts. Not just satisfying, but healing. For you. Always for you. So keep going. Keep building. Keep becoming. Because your story, it's going to be epic. And one day, you'll look back and smile too. Just like I am right now. Whew. Did this one give you that satisfying chill? Sometimes people ask me if I ever think about reaching out. If part of me wants reconciliation, the answer is complicated. On one hand, there's still my blood. Memories of childhood. Holidays, birthdays, scraped knees, and bedtime stories. Those don't vanish. But on the other, they showed me who they were in my darkest moment. And I believe people when they show me. Actions over words. Every time. Forgiveness? I've forgiven them in my heart. For my own peace. But reconciliation requires remorse. Real change. Accountability. And from what I've heard, they still blame the economy. Bad luck. Anything but their choices. Their cruelty. So no, the door stays closed. Just like they closed it on me. Life's too short to reopen wounds that have finally healed. I'd rather pour love into people who pour it back. Who celebrate my wins instead of waiting to benefit from them. Who never made me feel small. That's the family I choose now. And it's beautiful. Rich in ways money can't buy. So if you're watching this and relating hard, if family drama has you feeling alone this holiday season, no, you're not. There are millions of us out there, building new traditions, creating chosen families, healing, thriving. You're not broken. You're breaking through, and that's everything. This story isn't just about revenge. It's about resilience, about what happens when you bet on yourself, when you refuse to stay down. I went from that girl in the rain to speaking on stages, running a company, owning my home, living life on my terms, all because they thought I couldn't. So thank you, family. Really, you gave me the push I needed, the motivation that lasted years, the fire that still burns, and for that, I'm genuinely grateful. The rest, water under the bridge. Or should I say, rain that watered my growth. Either way, I won. Not because they lost, but because I became unstoppable, and that's the sweetest victory of all. Whew. Did this one give you that satisfying chill?